कि ये जो प्रोसेस है तीनों का, इसमें शुरुआत टेस्टिंग से होती है या कोई ऐसे कि सब एक साथ हो रहा है? दूसरा ये कि सारे जो सीक्वेंस है मतलब वो बाई डायरेक्शनल है, कोई भी चीज कभी भी हो रही है?
हाँ, नहीं बिल्कुल. if you see a little small child, like you take his kid, it's 1 year old, it has no images inside as memory. Okay, if you look at ground equal to zero, what it really has is it has some capabilities that has been developed in itself, some pre-developed, let us say, capabilities, and we'll get to that if needed. For now, let's just keep it that way. And some uh, tendencies in its man, its vritti, and its imaging, but it has no data. There's no content. Alright. It's exploring the world through the senses, and as it moves around, it's picking up all the images. So if you start from zero, like this kid is one, so almost zero, that's where it's really picking it up from. In fact, it started in the Garbha itself. Garb mehi, it's not just picking up the sounds, but also getting influenced by the way in which the mother is thinking. The mother's thoughts are influencing the child, the corresponding area in the child's self. So that's like t equal to 0. T equal to 1, it's out. So the first 1 year, it's really exploring around using its senses. So it's picking up things, it's looking at people, it's trying to see who's friendly, who's not. Like I went to pick it up once and now I made it a joke. So now I'm one of the people it doesn't, it's going to push aside, right? So what happened is it's picked up from the man, from choosing. Now there's no analysis much. There's only like, dislike. In that child, there is no hit, profit, loss. It doesn't understand. For it, there is no justice that I'm feeling bad. He said this to me. It's just likes and dislikes that's happening, and the images are getting stored. Now, so this is where we pick up the images from. Now, when these images come, now this is bidirectional. Now, the images that are already coming inside are going to now, to some measure, influence or dictate the future steps or the actions it is going to take at the level of choosing. अब ये loop हो गया है. So over a period of time, see what happens is as we grow old, as the images, like you said, the heap, chit mein, the heap happens. And as the heap hardens, it's now more and more difficult to shift or make any changes in the heap, which is why it's more difficult to adjust oneself as you grow older. Very difficult. It's difficult to change beliefs as you grow older. It's difficult to be open-minded. And so when you say you're open-minded, actually open-chitted. Allowing a new image to come in. That's really being open-minded. So once it starts, then it's bi-directional. But for instance, what's happening with us in this workshop? I mean, there was for some of you, of course, you attended in the past, and for those of you even who came for the first time, there is some small window of opening that you have for something other than what is immediately gratifying for your senses or money and so on and so forth. However small that window may be. So you've chosen to do that, and then we pick up those inputs. Now, as these inputs come in, so in this workshop, what's happening is coming in through choosing, purpose-based selection ho raha hai. And then that is getting analyzed, and then we're trying to image it. And the reason sometimes we feel heavy is because it's a completely new image, or it's an image in an area that I've never ventured into in the past. Who has wondered how many faculties I had? मैं हूं कि नहीं यही पता नहीं रहता है. I am absent. Something is happening. So as that starts, getting clear, as some of those images start becoming clarified, that in turn will start deciding or defining what's going to happen in the weighing in the tulan. Okay, so let's say we now accept the image that I am, and we have a previous image saying I'm not. Now this will override that. So how can I not be? I went for these 10 days and now I'm 100% sure I am. ऐसा होगा. Now, after that, whenever you read a book that says I'm not, you're going to be like, रहने दो यार, this is not for me now. So now it's something inside that I have tested. Now that's going to push back. Like for instance, I have stopped reading most literature that doesn't match to things that I have already accepted and tested. And if I do, then I'm only doing it from the point of view of comparison. I'm no longer interested because I've already evaluated it. In fact, it occurred to me quite accidentally. I mean, after attending, so we do this preliminary introductory workshop and then we have something called Adhyan Bindu, which is a set of 44 points that we discuss over a period of 10 days. Pretty much the same thing, but let's give it a little more intensity and we don't spend so much time आपको समझना है नहीं समझना. You're clear, you want to understand, directly get to the. So I had attended one or two of those and I had managed to whatever. I felt that that this is it for me. That is the way I felt it. And I was in Pune. It was 2007. I had gone to a place where they were selling these books on the road. So there is a book called Vivek Chudamani by Shankaracharya. It's a very famous book, very thin one. And I picked it up and got it home. And it was a Saturday. I was still working. I didn't know what to do. So I just sat down to read it. When I started reading it, after the third line, I felt there is a mistake in this line based on what I have, studied. So I took a pen and I started correcting it. And as I read the book, I continued to correct it and I finished correcting it. It's a small book published by Advaita Ashrama, like 10 rupees, 12 rupees. They make it really cheap. After I finished it, and I just put it aside, and then it suddenly occurred to me, what did I just do? That was written by Shankaracharya, and who am I to correct it? Where did I get? How could I even figure out? एक तो समझ में नहीं आता है ना what we are saying. If you just pick it up, it takes a long time. And the book Vivek Chudamani means the crest jewel of Viveka. Viveka का मतलब है कि सही गलत में पहचान कर पाना. उसका चूड़ामणि मतलब the name of the translated book is the crest jewel of discrimination between true and false. In fact, discrimination क्या है between true and false? It is this न्याय अन्याय धर्म अधर्म सत्य असत्य. यही है discrimination. Okay. And so once the image comes in and you if it is an accurate reflection of reality, ऐसे बड़े जो solid, जिसको हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो धासु image. Once you get धासु images, then the smaller images will they'll just sublimate or vaporize. Yeah. Yeah. You are choosing. Yeah. A choice that you made. And an experience in the external world. That is called living. That last thing that you did in the external world is called living. उसी को जीना कह रहे हैं. इसीलिए we say that this proposal is for living, not to get mukti and die and escape. You will be able to live and action it. Okay. So yeah, so the activities in the self are actually interesting. We've already seen this, so let's move on to number 6. How does it flow? And this is what you were bringing up right now. How does the flow happen? Okay. So there are two ways the flow happens. One is the flow is from outside to inside. That is based on some sensation. I develop an experience. Okay, I develop some taste. I do the analysis of the taste. I evaluate it. I find it is good. It comes in as an image. Now, if it is a sensory desire, ये store हो गया. So the next time we want to go out to eat, it becomes a desire. So this one fires up. So if it is to do with a sensation, it will fire up accordingly. If it is to do with something, I've seen some nice car, अभी वो मेरे अंदर आ गया, I have to take it. Now it may be worth 30 lakh rupees. I don't have 30 lakh rupees, so it's going to be sitting there. as a subtle desire. I may never end up buying the car. I will die thinking I could not buy the car because it was a subtle desire. Okay. But if the car becomes something important for me, in which I feel that it's going to be part of who I am, if it's going to define my respect, my identity, and if it slowly becomes an inspired or an intense desire, I'm then going to make a plan to go ahead and actually, I got my pointing stick back. தண்ணி கொடுத்துறேன் பார்த்து தண்ணி. Okay. So to fulfill that desire, then there will be analysis. Should I buy the car? Should I not buy the car? So when we say I'm not able to decide, यही हो रहा है. We are not able to take a decision on whether the decision to execute a choice has not yet been made. And often that is because our ratio of the preferences, right, is not clear, or sometimes the underlying desire is not clear. Oftentimes this itself is not clear. If you recollect, when we did the exercises on the desires, we said we're not even clear about some of the desires. We don't know what it means, how it fulfills a role in the entirety. And many times we haven't analyzed it. We've not figured out how to go ahead and action it. And sometimes because it's like an enigma, we just let it sit somewhere in the deep recesses of our mind, which is the chip. It just sits there. We don't know what to do with it. Especially with some relations, like with this one particular person, you don't know what to do with that. You just stay there. I don't know what to do with it. Okay, so that's how it works. So from outside to inside. So we experience something, we evaluate it as I like it, mujhe priya laga. So that immediately forms an image. So then now that image is stored, it goes on to become my desire. I again evaluate, I analyze. So this is the fourth. So this is called the activity of motion. This is called the gati kriya. This is called the sthiti kriya, activity of state. And this is the name of that kriya. Okay, so this is called force. So this is how it flows. So this is one way in which the information flows. So from outside to inside. Yeah, I already explained this, so you can read this. You see a big car, it goes in, and now we have a car associated with respect. And now acquiring respect from having a car becomes my desire. Now this is going to drive me. Now I'm going to make a plan, go ahead and do it. Alright.
One more question. If you don't see it through your senses, let's say for example I have to make a call to my niece or nephew, it's coming from self, not body.
Yeah, it's coming from the memory. It's like a set of things that you have to do that is stored in the memory bank. सबके memory bank में कुछ है ना. I have to speak to my mother every day. I have to call my niece on her birthday. I have to wish my wife on our marriage anniversary. ये सब एक रहता है. So at that time it has to come up. Coming from inside. It comes from the chip. Yeah. Not from outside. Yeah. वही तो एक बार अंदर आ गया. Once it is inside or it is formed inside, then it starts getting activated from inside. Every time we are not coming from the outside. Then we are using the outside to validate it sometimes or to express it. So both are happening.
Via in the previous slide, the Gati Kriya and the Sthiti Kriya, how do they correlate with each other? Do they happen simultaneously, concurrently, or either of the two? Can you?
So they're actually together, but we may be aware of one of them at one point in time. The Sthiti Kriya denotes the experience, okay, and the Gati Kriya is its expression. For instance, when we taste good food, we experience it as being nice. And then we choose to again take more food. So when I'm experiencing the food, this is kind of dormant. And then when I'm going ahead and picking the next morsel, then this becomes active. And this goes back into expecting state. Like every piece of food that I put and taste, मैंने मुंह में डाला, स्वाद मिला. फिर से उठाया, स्वाद मिला. फिर से उठाया, स्वाद मिला.
So it is just like a cyclic process?
It's a cyclic process. Okay. Similarly, even here, I put it and I experience profit. So this is my source of happiness. So this is where I'm actually experiencing happinesses. These are again empty. We'll fill them up by
So
like
one stimulus can act as a driving input for the other.
for the other one. So the gati kriyas are actually ones that are expressing what is there in the state, or they work to acquire what the state one desires. दोनों में से एक होता है. For instance, I want to get a head massage. Now this imaging and analysis will work for how to get this fellow a head massage. Somebody wanted a head massage here. Suddenly yaad aa gaya. You wanted a head massage. He wanted a head. No, he left. The guy who wanted a head massage has gone to get a head massage. चले गया वो head massage लेने. Okay, so now these are going to work to get the person a head massage. Yeah? तीव्र इच्छा, I mean for that instant, yeah. Actually तीव्र आशा है वो, धीरे धीरे then we'll, head massage आशा है, ठीक है? So this we'll have to keep doing as we, for the purposes of our introductory session. And sometimes it is happening from inside to outside. That's the one that you said. So now we have the desire for respect via the car. We go about planning this, and based on that, we make choices to fulfill it. Okay? As you can see, these are like snapshots from that book. And I'm not going to spend time cleaning it up. So you can just read. It's actually nicer because then you can read it and it's in this flow. Alright. No, Didi. Asha is a kriya that is experiencing something with the external world. Icha is what is propelling it within myself. Asha is also within myself, but it is closer to the body. Man ke star par na, the outermost area from where we experience. For instance, let us say you remember a nice memory. एक अच्छा memory आपने remember किया. The remembrance, the storage of the memory is इच्छा. आपकी इच्छा है तभी तो memory बनी हुई है. इच्छा नहीं होती, उसको भूल जाते हैं. We want to forget poor memories, bad memories. So that is बना हुआ है. When you pay attention to that memory, like I like my nani. I used to like my nani a lot. I mean, I still like her, but she's no longer there. So I'm saying I used to like her. Okay. So I have very fond memories of times with her. Now the storage of these memories in the chip. Okay. If I image her right now, her image comes up, which I'm doing right now as I'm talking to you. And it feels good. This feeling good is happening in the asha. The man is now experiencing my nani, who is coming up as a memory from the chip. Okay? ये तो अंदर ही हो गया है. There is no nani outside. आस्वादन में हो रहा है. उसका आस्वादन हो रहा है. डिपेंड इस एग्जाम्पल में experiencing is happening in the sthiti kriya, not in the gati kriya. Okay? Didi's been at it for 6-7 years, so just pardon the year. But if there is actually a Rani outside, now that experience is going to be full of life. But she's actually there, I'm actually interacting, memory भी form हो रहा है, and वो actual interaction का स्वाद मिल रहा है. आशा के साथ वो input भी आ रहा है from the outside. In this case, Nani का तो it is not a the form of the nani as well as the entire prabhav is coming via the senses into the man. इच्छा भी है, उसमें भी आशा हो रहा है, but उसमें there is no chayan because there is no nani outside. It's virtual. ये लोग करते हैं ना virtual, they're fighting on the video game. कर रहे ना झगड़ा, मार मार उसको मार. कोई किधर कोई है ही नहीं, किसको मार रहा है? फोन वीडियो गेम क्या है? वो अंदर ही अंदर मार रहा है, कुटाई कर रहा है ना. बीटिंग अप ईच अदर ऑन द. We were at IIT Kanpur once or something, and there was a room next to where we stayed, my Gauri and I, and there was this guy who was up through the night. So we went and I went at about 10 p.m. and asked him to lower the volume because the volume was too high. And then the next day, I asked our host, I said, what's happening? I mean, how come this guy's up to the night? So he asked one of the students, he said, "Hey, world championship chal raha hai." I said, what world championship? He was in his room. He said, no, it's a video game world championship. He is part of a like world championship inside that video game. There are people from Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Russia, and Thailand all in a world championship. It's completely virtual. But he is enjoying it, and so the tasting is still happening inside. So it also tells us that for every aswadan or every experience, you need not actually do a transaction outside, except for in the material world. When you want to eat a papaya, you will have to eat the papaya. You can't remember the papaya and feel good about it. Remembering the papaya will increase your thirst to get the papaya. But for the other taste, the mule mulak and the other one, it is possible to get it within.
One more slightly not related, but when we are talking about imaging and when we are going through this process, we are consciously like doing right. When I see a car, there is an image. When I think of making a call, there's some image that I'm recalling. But there are also things or images that happen naturally. Like I'm attending this workshop, but some image would flash nowhere relevant, but it just flash and go. What are those images? For example, I'm just I may think of a bird or a baby or anything that's flash up. That's nowhere related to listening to this workshop, my purpose, but there is an image that flash.
Yeah, so they just memories that are coming and going, randomly, what you call as a wandering mind. Wandering मन भी हो सकता है, wandering चित्त भी हो सकता है. Man, to be able to attend the workshop, your man has to be locked into the content at all times, and that is quite daunting because after some time you do get tired. So those times when you feel you lost the thread is when really the chit has been overwhelmed, and hence the man decides to take a break, just switches off. So there is input coming in from the person who's talking, but it's not getting interpreted as meaning inside you or inside me. So that's just like what you call as a wandering mind. So there'll be some random thing that just comes and goes. Yeah. दोनों ही है, but usually one of the two wanders. Usually मन wander कर लेगा, but the man will wander away if the chit has not locked it into place. If the chit has locked it into place, there's no way the man can wander. It's a higher level. If the chit is active, man को सुनना ही पड़ेगा. When the chit is weak, then it is according to the man. When the chit वही चित्त में डिसाइड कर लेता मतलब फिर चित्त में इच्छा बन जाती है. Like let us say you are trying to earn a livelihood है ना, आपको पैसे बनाना है, and this is a 8-day class on multi-level marketing and you have paid 1 lakh rupees fees to come here. आप नहीं सो सकते. आपने 1 लाख रुपए दिया है and it is going to get you 10 lakh rupees and you want to make profit. You will be up till 10 in the night. वसूल करो इससे, है ना. लंच ब्रेक 2 घंटा. अरे यार 1 लाख रुपए लिया और 2 घंटे का ब्रेक ले रहा है, हम आधे घंटे में वापस आ जाते हैं सर. So it's really, so it is easier. I mean, it's only human, it's only natural because we are growing from priya to hit to labh to nyaya to dharma to satya. Because we're talking of nyaya to dharma to satya, and we've traditionally not been concerning ourselves with that domain, we need to take breaks. So we take some sleep breaks, and thankfully our food is also nice and the weather is also nice, and nobody's falling sick and nobody's being nasty. So all that helps. But for people who sign up only for Nyaya Dharma Satya, they stay up at 3. I told you in that, I'll give that example because that's a book I most recently read. I read very less books nowadays. I read this one on journey on this Thai forest tradition. So they wake up at 3 o'clock. There are these Brits and Americans and Canadians who joined up to become a Buddhist monk because they want to reach Buddhahood. उसके अंदर तीव्र इच्छा बन गई. He's left behind his family, friends and everything. He's worn these clothes he gets to eat. आप सोचो, अब वो तो दारू भी पिया होगा, सब कुछ खाया होगा. Now he has to eat rice and lentils once a day in a bowl. हाँ, he doesn't get tea, coffee, and he gets one hot drink. उसका कितना तीव्र इच्छा चाहिए करने को? And they stay with it through their entire life. तो चित्त ही दबा रहा है ना. I mean, the body will put pressure on the man to sleep, and he keeps it up through the night. And the way they do it is they keep walking. Okay, so yeah, so that's really what it looks like. So put together, this is what is called as imagination. So we started with imagination, and now we've expanded imagination. Saying this is what, when we say I'm imagining things, one of or these things or this collection is really kind of taking place. All right. So now we look at this is how it's functioning. So what are the issues in this? इसमें problem क्या है? We know that there are some problems, but we'll just try to quickly go through them without trying to feel too bad about it. So there are two ways in which we're getting information. One is through the senses. We're taking sensory experiences and forming images. There's other information that is coming as beliefs again via the senses, but I've shown the arrow here, but basically it's also coming here, but it is not to do with the sensory experience. It's information. It's images, okay, that we are picking up. So there are two ways in which this thing is really coming. So we are either driven from here or we are driven from some kind of belief that's coming in. And what problems does that cause? As you can see, this activity, this activity, this activity, this activity, and this, we have 5 empty cells here. And these cells are empty. Okay, and out of the perspectives of likes, health and profit and justice, order and truth, these arrows are jumped here, they should be here. Only these 3 are really active. Okay, these are biased, like we already saw. Remember, I said we are looking at it from a biased perspective. So, net, what is happening is the laptop is freezing. Okay, so these are beliefs, sensations, and yeah, issues in partial chetana. Now we're going to start calling this chetana, consciousness. There are 4.5 activities. Why are the 4.5 activities? I just count it here. Okay, there is 1, 2, 3. Where is it? 1, 2. Okay, 3, 4. And out of this 6, only half is functioning. So just mathematically we call it 4.5. It's not, if you count, if you just want to give it a mathematical representation, it's called 4.5. Alright. We did see that the other 5, other half, the bottom half is there, but is different. It's not what it should be. It's biased. So we call it Sadachar Kriya, 4.5. First thing is, our basic identity itself is not clear. When we are functioning only with the 4.5 activities, we think the self is the body, and we have all these associations with my name, with my caste, with the religion I'm born into, my karma, which is my occupation, which is really jati, the geography. I'm from Karnataka, I'm from northern Karnataka, I'm from southern Karnataka, I am from India, I am from Asia, this is a Southeast Asian. ये जितने भी labels हैं, they are all stored as images that I have accepted as associations in myself as an image. Okay, including the fact that I'm male and female, and because I'm male I'm this way, and because I'm female I'm this way. Whereas if you really look at it, the need for understanding, the syllabus for understanding the activities in the self are exactly the same in males and females. There is no difference in that. It's not that females don't want to be peaceful and contented, or they don't have imaging, or they don't have analysis. Everybody has that. So we also have these associations with form, which is called roop, with wealth. मेरे पास इतना पैसा है. So you're asking intoxication of wealth. This is where it happens. We get intoxicated. We associate ourselves with that number you see on the bank checkbook, whereas it's actually outside, and it's actually not in with me. It's somebody else has it, and even they don't have it. Finally, the RBI governor has it. The bank doesn't keep the money. It's not, I mean, if I have, let's say, 50 lakh rupees in the bank, 50 lakh का note थोड़ी है. It is a promise by the bank that they'll pay you the equivalent of 50 lakh rupees. If the bank goes bankrupt, you don't have money. है ना? Our wealth is not in physical form anymore. It's a notion. And this notion really exists here. Also strength, that I am so strong, bal, okay, and position, and buddhi. I am intelligent, I am not intelligent, I am the boss of this place, I am the boss of the house, I am the boss of the company, so on and so forth. Is really some, an identity that I hold very close to myself, and it is stored as association in the chit. So this, what is the problem with that? The problem is it's not me. The second is my persona is adopted. Okay, so since childhood, what happens is I have absorbed many images. Okay, and now I don't know what really is mine. मेरा क्या है इसमें? ये तो इधर से उठा, ये उधर से उठा, ये अमिताभ बच्चन से उठा, ये पिताजी से उठाया. Finally, where am I? So, what is the real me is something that you will, see is difficult to really ascertain here, right? And this leads to inner conflict because I have so many images, I end up having multiple personalities. The same me in a different situation ends up behaving differently. When the condition changes, suddenly my love and affection is outside the window. So I have these conflicting behaviors within me, and if I examine them, I will see that I want to reject some of them. कि ये मैं नहीं हूँ, I cannot be so bad, or I am not so and so. So this conflict inside us is something, which is the second problem. And kind of try to depict it here that we have one desire which conflicts with the other desire, which ends up conflicting with the third desire. So I will be living with exploitation, and I have an image of me that I live simply. Jabki I am doing something else. So what I believe of myself itself uh, can be, contradictory. Oftentimes, what also happens is we are somebody, we assume we are something else, and we display something else to the world. All of us are like that. We have no choice. We display our best face to the world. Yeah? And we assume something about ourselves, and usually we have something else. So the people closest to us, our parents, siblings, husbands and wives, are the ones who actually see this about me. They see this facet, right? And we don't like it because this is what we believe about ourselves. So which is why we kind of push back saying, this is not me. So this is another aspect. We won't spend too much of time on this because there's no point elaborating on the negatives, just so we become aware of them. The third issue is, because of all the previous points, we really don't know what I really want, which was a question which we asked on the first day. Remember, we came in and I said, what is it that you really want? And there was, because of we put the word really. आप वास्तव में क्या चाहते हैं? If you said, what do I want? Then there is like 55 desires we got. I want a horse, I want to be Alexander the Great. But what you really want is something we don't know, because our desires and goals are imported, short term or limited. Many times we have lack of clarity on them, which is why it's very shaky and we fail to have, true confidence about ourselves, because finally we don't know. And some may we know that I don't know. What is the result? The result is this discontentment, this emptiness within. Because I need fulfillment within, and I'm getting my head massaged. That can only do so much. I mean, I'm using the head massage figuratively. I'm doing something in the outside world. I'm putting powder on my face. I'm getting my hair combed. I'm drying a car, but nothing is happening inside. And that's where the emptiness is. That's where the hollowness is. So to escape that, I try to go for a car drive and bungee jumping, and it works for some time, and after some time it stops working. All right. So really, the happiness from the sensory thing is short-lived. It's there, but it is short-lived. Okay, and it is of a particular type. We have varying relationship experiences in the human relationships. Okay, and we have these unrealistic or improbable images or desires. Okay, especially of external control. For instance, even in daily life, for many of us, for now, let us say many of us, we want to have our way wherever we are. And it starts with that little child, like his little kiddo, didn't want me to enter that particular slab on which he is standing. Abhi, वो उधर खड़ा है, I went close and he started shouting. If I step back from that stone, he is fine. उसका जिद देखिए, और वो पत्थर उसका हो गया, जबकि उसका भी नहीं है, मेरा भी नहीं है, उसके बाप का भी नहीं है. हाँ? देखिए कैसा एसोसिएशन होता है. सो मच ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ ह्यूमन चाइल्ड एंड अ लिटिल calf. That kid thinks that area is his. For that, abhi bhul gaya. Now I can go and sit there and he would have forgotten. But if he sits there again, he is going to do the same thing. Now what is this? He meri chalegi. And we'll talk of that as a bandhan. That's called Asha Bandhan. That is, I want to have things my way. Okay? And it's both a natural and unnatural attitude in humans. It's natural because it seems to come without teaching. It's unnatural because it's not my basic nature. Because if it was my basic nature, it should have given me happiness. It actually makes life miserable for me, makes life miserable for everybody else around me, because nobody wants to listen to you. Yeah. So at home, when I'm trying to have improbable images, saying my wife should listen to me, and my father should listen to me, and my daughter should listen to me, and the boss should listen to me, nothing is going to happen. So it's just a wrong desire, because it's not acceptable to me, it's not acceptable to the other person. It's flawed. All right. And that's really one of the things that we have to address. And where does that arise from? Those gati kriyas we spoke of. Remember, I said the ichha, the vichar. They are actually designed in such a way that we are trying to control someone. All right. So if I start staying on this campus, and then I start imagining now that everybody should listen to me. Kyun? Because मैं पहले से manager हूँ. Now this is a problem. Nobody wants to listen to you. And everybody thinks कि वो वाला जगह मेरा है. Which is why as humans, it becomes very difficult for us to coexist with each other. Because we're each trying to have our own way. Why? Because of the gati kriyas. And we've not examined them. That's okay for animals, because see, the cat already is told itself that his tent is its. उसका टेंट ले लिया ना उसने. बिल्ली ने लिया, अभी तो पेशाब किया. वहां से शुरू होता है, which is why we call it जीव चेतना. These 4.5 kriyas is called जीव चेतना, because it is akin to how animals are, and as humans, that's not enough for us. That is not a source for our happiness. We can't be like cats and dogs, pissing all over the place saying this is mine, because everybody is pissing, everybody is saying everything is mine. Need a different set of rules or ways to be each other. Okay, and this causes frustration. The discontentment is also because we don't know what we really want, and hence our goals keep shifting. When we're in class 9, grade 10 is the goal. When we reach grade 12, grade 12 is the goal. 12th हो गया तो college is the goal. College हो गया, money is the goal. Money हो गया, शादी is the goal. शादी हो गया, बच्चा is the goal. बच्चा हो गया, बच्चे का शादी is the goal. By then it's too late, you have to go. बच्चे का शादी and then बच्चे का बच्चा and then you have to go. So this goal keeps shifting and we end up chasing it, not with zero results. We get something, we get some assurance and things to eat and maybe a big house and all that. But the other really needs that are within me remain unfulfilled, right? And this leads to a materialistic overdrive. I try to get and fulfill all my needs of fulfillment in all dimensions of my living through the body. So what will happen? I'll have madness for profit, madness for carnality or what's called as sex. And in order to fulfill these two, I end up having a madness for profit. Because money is going to get me these two things. Because places like India are traditional and religions are very strong here, our marital life is still intact. In those parts of the world where religion has taken a backseat, body count has gone up. The only reason the Indian body count or the Chinese, the Sri Lankan body count or let us say somewhere else body count is here is because of these religious beliefs. Beliefs है, but उससे ये बना हुआ है. Wherever that has come under challenge, body count 52. मेरे को नया शब्द ही मिल गया body count 52, 55, 100 है ना. Um, so that's the fourth problem. Um, जिसको laundry list बोलते हैं वैसा हो गया ये. So this is the need. Again, and then we have this fear. These are the four kinds of fear we have when living with the 4.5 activities. We have fear for life, कि मैं मर जाऊंगा. That's called pran bhai. Fear of respect, that you will disrespect me. That's called man bhai. Then there is dhan bhai, that I will lose my money. My savings will go away and I will lose my position, that people will stop listening to me or, looking up to me. That's um, the sixth one, of course, that the conduct is varying. I'll let this be. Yeah, you can read it at home. And it's a fancy thing. It counts the number, ये जो bullet है. And the seventh again is the limited perspective that you get. Because our perspective is limited, the drishti is limited, the aspects of reality we see are biased and they're partial. Either we can't see it, and if we can see it, it's biased. It's according to me. So we're not able to see the full picture. So what happens is even our ability to see problems and find up solutions for them are very limited. Okay? I mean, for instance, pollution order. What do you do? Odd even scheme. Allow vehicles on odd days and even days. So that's a very short term solution.
So is chit within consciousness? Is it part of consciousness?
One of the 5 faculties in the conscious self. So what we're calling as consciousness is the fundamental attribute of the conscious entity. It's called the conscious unit. This is what we were referring to as the self, whose needs are qualitative, whose needs are weightless, whose experiences are weightless. We discussed all that yesterday. So the chit really is one of the integral, inseparable faculties in us. For instance, you can validate this very easily. Wherever you go, do your memories follow you? They're there all the time. Wherever you go, does the faculty of thought follow you? बना ही हुआ है. आप उठो, it's there. आप सोने जाओ, it's there. You go to the International Space Station, it's there. Wherever you go, the faculty of tasting and expecting, is it there with you? Everywhere we have some expectation. Like if you come to this workshop at let's say 2 in the morning, you would expect that somebody would receive you as an expectation of Mulya, that I'm coming here and there should be somebody to tell me where to go and sleep. So the expectation is always there, and the expectation, the thinking, the memory, the chit, our psyche, they're inseparable. They are there with me all the time. Even if I go to Mars, I'm carrying all these memories there. है ना? दिल्ली का जो गंदा हवा है, उसका मेमोरी मार्स तक भी जाएगा, वापस भी आएगा. It won't leave me. So that feeling bad that the Delhi air is polluted will not disappear even if I go on a spaceship and go to the moon. उधर भी I'll feel bad कि यार दिल्ली का हवा कितना गंदा है. Just taking an example because we were there recently and it was really difficult to breathe. Or whatever it is that we dislike or we like. So you see, even when people go on this International Space Station, they have a picture of their family, their wife and daughter. It's part of them. So these things are really inseparable. So that's a big shift in this coexistential thought compared to some of the streams of schools of darshans that we have in this country. In the other ones, these activities are being deemed to be separable. But basically what is being said here is these are inseparable, which is why living is integral. You have the material, the relationship and the intellectual and spiritual together. They cannot be separated. You can't separate, I will now separate myself from the vritti, I will separate. Nahi hota ho. It's inseparable and we'll understand why, at least logically tomorrow. Yeah, but right now the answer is yes, and this is how we can test it. Okay. 4.5. So आस्वादन 1, टेस्टिंग 1, एक्सपेक्टिंग 2, विश्लेषण 3 या विचार, वो सब पर्यायवाची है ना. विश्लेषण and विचार are the same thing. And चित्रण या desiring 4, and tulan या weighing. Out of 6, only 3 are functioning properly, so half of tulan. So the half is actually of tulan. The fifth one is tulan, weighing. You're supposed to do priya hit labh nyaya dharma satya. You're supposed to have all 6 to live as a human. But nyaya dharma satya is either malfunctioning or for some people both dilli dur hai. So only priya hit labh is functioning. And within that there are some people in whom priya is more, some people hit is more, some people labh is more, some people nyaya is more, some people dharma is aisa. Bar char sabta alag alag everybody. But it's all together. So in the tulan only 50% functions. Mathematically, it's not like a statistical. It's a qualitative thing. It's a way to represent it. So only 4.5. In fact, we'll see as we proceed that we actually have 10 activities in us, out of which only 4.5 are fully functioning or properly or somewhat properly in many of us, and the remaining 5.5 are really dormant, and that's the problem. 6 कौन सा? 10. If all 6 are working, then we will say that your consciousness is transforming. It will be called 5. From 4.5, you are working in 5. Even there, it will not function fully, but we call that stage manan, meditation. When you are able to use Nyaya Dharma Satya at all times or significantly, and you still don't have the 6th one, which is a blank one there. These are the blank spots here, right? So we'll be filling up the blank, filling in the blank. Just like at the base of analysis, there is weighing. At the base of Chitran, there is something. Here also there is something. Here there is something. Here there is something. Here there is something. So these are not functioning. This is consciousness awakening. That's how it goes. Huh? Anubhav Gami. This is called Anubhav Gami. Gaman, matlab you're moving towards Anubhav. The top one is Anubhav. So, when this starts, you're in Manan. If you're able to do Manan properly, this will start. Then 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 it will start functioning like this, which is what we'll get to. That's a solution. Yeah. So, that's really the one of the significant discoveries in this darshan or school of thought. Okay, in what is called other coexistential philosophy, that there are these 10 activities and it malfunctions because only 4.5 are working, and it functions fully when 10 are working, and each one of us wants it. I mean, we at least want these 4.5 to become 5, without which rahat nahi hai. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 भले ही मैं बाद में सोच लूं, till I don't get a kabu, because lab is finally killing. It doesn't give. We've all tried it, no? Abhi to in this world, we've all, at least those of us in the cities, thak gaye khake. Kama ke thak gaye. That's why everybody's gone. See, there's so many people leaving. He quit her job. They've gone back to the farm. He's dumped physics. He's dumped business. Kya ho raha hai? We've tried the maxima that can give, and we realize that there is emptiness there. And we don't know where to go. So, chalo yaar, chalo ped ko to pakad leta hu. This seems to be better than all this. At least I get, clean air and water and I can do something.
Yeah, for us, you are not only a faculty but also a role model.
Role model? Model.
We believe that you are a role model. So just can you kindly share out of your experience among these 10 kriyas, what is your level, and at present what is your level, and how did you achieve that particular level in how much of time duration?
I'm trying to go from 4.5 to 5 now. I have just, I think, have glimpses of the 5th one, the half. Okay. And trying to convert that into 6.
And certainly your target would be to reach at the 10th peak.
Right now I'm only thinking up to 6 or 7. See, the theoretical target is 10. But if you ask my personal target, वन इज ए theoretical target, जैसे कौन प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनना चाहता है ना? है ना? बट इफ आई हैव टू थिंक लाइक लालू प्रसाद यादव, देन कौन किसको अनुभव नहीं चाहिए, सबको चाहिए, है ना? बट knowing the gravity of it, कि आई एम करंटली विलेज सरपंच, है ना, आई एम ड्रीमिंग ऑफ बिकमिंग द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ द कंट्री, वो तो ठीक है, बट व्हाट एम आई गोइंग टू थिंक टिल? आई एम गोइंग टू थिंक टिल तहसीलदार. सो मतलब मेरी औकात को देखते हुए, है ना? सो माई करंट टारगेट वुड बी टू रियली सॉर्ट आउट these 4.5, 5. Um, I'll share with you. There's nothing to. I mean, it's very simple. It's simple. I put it's in 3 stages. So you get input, then there's consciousness transformation, there's consciousness development. So I'm currently in the process of trying to take the input and convert or transform.
And you are already working in this field since last 12-13 years.
12-13 years, yeah.
तो हमारी हालत फिर क्या होगी?
नहीं, सबका स्पीड अलग अलग होगा. You could be starter. This is like, you know, Christianity में there is this thing, a story of the Noah's Ark. Noah का एक boat था, है ना? So it doesn't matter whether you are capable. Everybody just sat on the boat because that is taking you to destiny. So the meaning of attending or starting this workshop, since it's your third one, is really that we kind of realize that this is where we want to be going. And you don't have to leave anything behind, right? The fun of this is you still get to eat and sleep. You're still family, and you can only sort it out to make it better. There's no virakti. And so you don't have to leave behind anything. You're taking along everything, at least up to the 8th, 9th day, and even then after the 9th and 10th also. Yeah. So initially the height. So that is actually in the darshan. That's what you call as. I had put it down as glimpse, semblance, and certitude. So if you want to identify that here, this is how it comes. So when we are able to get clarity between these two, yeah, यहाँ पर this is called glimpse or भास. Okay, this is called semblance. Semblance का मतलब उसके जैसा, आभास. When we are able to get clarity here, this is called certitude or pratiti. Okay, and when you are able to get it here, it is called realization. I use the American spelling Z. British spelling में S आएगा. ऐसे ही कर देता हूं, हम तो ब्रिटिश स्कूल गए, है ना? अनुभूति, इन दोनों के बीच में एक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड बोध, बट वी डोंट नीड इट नाउ, जस्ट लीव इट. सो या, it took me 12 years to complete this and do half of this. और टेक्निकली देखेंगे तो ऐसा है, मतलब आभास का हाफ हुआ एंड हाफ इज लेफ्ट. या, but that's the thing, that once you see that this is where you want to go, you're not losing anything. You're anyways getting to keep what you already have, and you're only going to get better. Then there's nothing to lose. I mean, you are getting the body, you're getting the senses, you're getting the things. Work तो छोड़ दो because वो दुनिया के हिसाब से है, and now you get to interact with nature. ये तो सुरक्षित है ना. In fact, you are realizing the scope of this and how to be better in this, and you'll become better in this. And ये जो इंटेलेक्चुअल लिखा था, ये इधर तक आता है, एंड ये स्पिरिचुअल है. ऐसा है, if you want to map it. We, yeah. हाँ, डायरेक्टर बन गए, मिस कर दिया. एग्जैक्टली वही तो. When you become director from joint director, अच्छा है ना? जॉइंट डायरेक्टर उसमें समा गया, वैसे ही है. हाँ. तो चपरासी से शुरू करेंगे, क्लर्क बनेंगे, फिर सुपरवाइजर बनेंगे, फिर जॉइंट डायरेक्टर बनेंगे, फिर डायरेक्टर बनेंगे. इसमें हाँ. So if you want to put it here, just for the fun of it, this is joint director. This is director. This is managing director. नीचे का भर लो. The bondages of, yeah. So the eighth month really is that, because of this we have this bondage, and the bondages are called Asha, Vichar and Ichha. So there is called Asha Bandhan, Vichar Bandhan and Ichha Bandhan. The bondage of Asha is in six. Uh, these are the six bondages of Asha. They are called Shad Vikar, or six stages of excitement. The first one is called infatuation or moha. The second is called greed or lobha. Kama is carnal obsession. Mad is self-intoxication, being full of yourself, not able to look out for anybody else. The fifth one is called matsarya or jealousy. And the sixth one is called anger or krodh. So these six put together are called um, the bondages of Asha from at the level of the man. Again, all six may not exist in a person at any given point in time. Some may, and some may be more and some may be less. It also tends to change with age. And yeah, actually, matsarya means not just jealousy but also wanting to cause somebody harm in a very rudimentary way. Mad is self-intoxication. You think too highly of yourself, although you've not really done anything, but you still think very highly of yourself. That's called mad. So these are the six ones there. It's called Asha Bandhan, or bondages of, of hope, of Asha. Bondage of thought means that I believe that my logic or way of explaining things, or the logic that I'm presenting is the superior one. For instance, in this, yeah, हाँ, ये इधर ही है, मैं पीपीटी तो भेज ही दूंगा सबको। ये नशा चढ़ा है। मन में ही रहता है, हाँ, ये मन में हो रहा है, ये 6 मन में हो रहा है। गुस्सा भी मन से हो रहा है। अंदर जब गुस्सा आके चले जाता है ना, it is actually a संघर्ष between चित्त and vritti. And then when it translates as anger, it can just rise and come down. So you controlled it from not expressing it. अंदर ही दबा लिया. And sometimes it will get expressed also, anger. So the darshan has very beautiful definitions for all this. I have not given much of the definitions. We've been speaking more directly of the. So for instance, the definition for krodh is स्वयं की अक्षमता का प्रदर्शन ही क्रोध है. Display of my inability itself is anger. That's how anger is defined. So the definitions are very beautiful, very spot on in the darshan. I mean, not just the concept and everything. For example, the definition for moha is called mugdh ho jana, to get lost, to get inside. That's what happens in love, no? जिसको puppy love बोलते हैं. Young age का जो love होता है ना, it's called puppy love. Teenage, 15, 16, 18, 20, they're blind. They won't think that this relationship will not work out. We're from different communities, nothing. And then when people protest, they'll go and jump in front of a train and kill themselves. Go have puppy love, intoxication. They've not thought through the love and figured out where it will take you and all that. So when we are in these states of the man, we are not able to reason. The reasoning faculty is the vritti. Okay? So when this is predominant, we are not able to reason. जैसे मेरी बेटी है. So now I like everything about her. I can't see any fault in her. Do you think that's good or bad? That's actually bad for her growth, because now, she will retain her faults. We get blinded. Carnal obsession is body count. Greed is lobe. So it's not lab. Lab is different from lobe. Lobe is when you go to a wedding, and there is a buffet dinner, and let's say there's chole bhature or rasmalai, and you have to take food, and then you think it kam padega. What if I don't get it later on? So then I end up loading my plate with the rasmalai also, rasgulla also, gulab jamun also, and now the plate becomes so heavy I can't hold it. and it's become too heavy to hold. I need to find some place to sit. That is lobe. I have 3 crores in the bank, but right now those 4 rasmalais look like they'll run away from me. That is lobe. You won't be able to hold the plate becomes so heavy. लगता है कि who will come and stand in the line again, and what a shortage हो गया तो there's so many people, ये लोग खाली है तो do not take 4 more. That's low. Yeah, ये सब 4.5 ही है. There are 8 issues. Yeah. जी. Yeah. Oh, it's a pura sanskar. Yeah, that's why it's called disposition. Are you disposed more towards um, are you disposed more towards priya or hit or labh, or that's what you would call as pura sanskar, either due to your upbringing or the kind of impressions you went through, or something that may have pre-existed from prior to that. So we've all had these, whatever you want to call it, journey, and the sum total of that is who we really are.
And for the same reason, I faced a lot of.
Yeah, that will happen. So in a world where justice or order or our inclination towards it, because again within justice, religion and truth, just to be clear, it's a very long range, it's not that, but let's say you are inclined more towards that. So when we're living in a world which is more towards Priya Hit Labh, they are not going to be able to understand this. They will just not understand how can you leave your job and go and want to plant trees or whatever, save the world, or go and understand what is life. What are you going to get out of it? Because they don't have that need at all, and which is why there will be a rejection. Which is why it becomes all the more difficult to be able to pursue anything like that. Um, Especially so in at a time or an age when you're expected to be a productive member of society and working, and if you're going to quit and go ahead and do that, then people don't understand it, and that's when there can be a clash. And where this helps is we'll feel when we go ahead to relationships is that how we can, because it's not going to happen overnight, but there is a possibility that we can study and kind of understand where the other person is coming from. Because see, in their right, they're fine, they're right. If I can only see pre-hit lab, if I can only see life, health, and profit, then I'm going to evaluate you and everybody else around me according to that, because that is what is happiness and important for me. And if you're going to say you're going to let go of profit and I don't know, go and save the earth or grow earthworms or whatever, whatever pursuit, it's going to sound very vague to me. Now, why would you want to do that? Because I cannot see that. I can only see how much I can see, and that is guided by the drishti inside me. So it takes time, but if we are able to study, not just the text, but really study and apply ourselves to study, which is called adhyan, then we slowly begin to appreciate, very slowly, gradually, if not slowly, where people are coming from. It doesn't change anything, but our ability to not get affected by them, to not reject them, not to, um, get into conflict with them, is then vastly increased or improved. I mean, all this will happen as we do this again. If we are able to get certitude or pratiti, then it becomes permanent enough. Really, I mean, then there is no coming back. Then you're just establishing what is right, and there is no way you can do anything wrong. But till then, one has to keep trying, because otherwise, I stand to go into conflict then. Because I remember when my father came to Bangalore and I told him I'm going to quit my job. And he thought the son is now in a Fortune 500 company. There's a Fortune 300 company, so a big name. He thought he'd get me married, buy me an apartment. And when नौकरी छोड़ के बैठा था, I put in my resignation papers. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I have to go and understand." He said, "You are mad. What is there to understand? You're 26. Go and work." I said, "No, I can't do that anymore. I have to go and find out what." And I didn't know what. Because I had no name for it. I could not describe it. I just knew that these books that I was reading were more in line with what I would like to do compared to those other books that were asking me to program and do an MBA and earn money. The basic विभाजन पता है. These are green colored books and these are red colored books. इतना तो दिखता है. I want the green colored books. I don't want the red colored books. Okay, just to give a simile. But you can't express it. I can express it today. Nobody wants to listen. That's a different issue. Okay. Yeah, but uh, it helped me also not be very judgmental about them because otherwise the relationship would have broken. If I look back at my own family, the people who raised me, who made me 82 kilos, huh? Okay, and I say that you're idiots and fools and you don't understand life and this is, that relationship is just going to be broken. That's because when you're standing on the green side, you tend to think I am right and now you want to reject everything that's red. If you don't see that it's a spectrum, and there will always be, at least for the foreseeable future, some people are red and some people are orange and some people blue and some people green and some people dark green. Then you will learn to appreciate the entire spectrum of the rainbow. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So in the family, really, or anywhere, it is only if somebody desires it. If they don't desire it, then it's just going to be an additional, headache for them. I mean, it will probably, in fact, can have the opposite effect because then they can actually feel further away. And one really has to make a very subjective assessment. I told you, in my house, it's been 2.5 years since I came back to Pune. In these 2.5 years, none of the 4 or 5 members have bothered for even 2 minutes to ask Gauri and me what we do. It's been 13 years. I'm sure they have their own assessment of who we are and what we do, but they never express it. They've never taken the opportunity to even find out. I told you, we are here and they've gone to see Vallabha Patel, which is okay. They're inside him right now. अंदर से लिफ्ट है पता है वल्लभ भाई पटेल के अंदर से. He can go up and come out from his mouth.
Bhaiya, maybe we can take this up post 8:30. It's a small discussion. I wanted to understand more about the goal chasing that you wrote.
Yeah,
There is
shifting goals.
shifting goals,
Yeah,
purpose finding, what influences, how you kind of, and there is the concept called inner calling. So how do you navigate this at this age or later? If you can,
yeah, we
if
can
it
do
will
it
take,
later. I mean, very simply put, if I just put it in 2 lines, one is we'll have to do what is needed to survive in today's world, both materially and relationship wise. So, which means if you're already married, settled, and have children, you have to do what is needed to not disturb them. You also have to figure out how to deal with Gandhiji. And unfortunately, Gandhiji works by Gandhiji's own principles. You cannot bring these principles on Gandhiji. He won't understand. नोट का अपना एक cycle होता है, and that's an unfortunate thing. Nothing can be done. If you can't really bear it, then you just have to jump out and say कि जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Like these people, they just jumped out, gone into the farm. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Right? I'm assuming they don't have like a huge multi-crore bank balance and then they've decided to go. They just gone and think हो जाएगा. If you can't bear it, then that's what you have to do. So सबका प्रवृत्ति अलग-अलग होगा उसमें. All right. So one will have to really, do what is needed to stem the flow there. and take out time to focus on the good thing about all of this, of what we're doing, is all it needs is time and attention. It doesn't need money. If you want to study this for 6 months, for instance, and you land up in any of our centers, nobody's going to ask you. I mean, if you can't afford it, then they'll figure out. Nobody's going to say कि तो fees नहीं भरा इसलिए you can't read, just go away. नहीं होता है. Okay. So the good thing is you don't have to spend money. All you need is time and attention. So even within the confines of a job, it's not difficult to take out 2 to 3 hours. What you need is really the discipline and the chahat, the ichha. So in your position, yeah, that would be the answer. And then as this becomes stronger, and as you are able to keep Gandhiji happy, then you can slowly see how to, kind of transition. But in short, that would be the. As you realize that all the other goals that I have are ways to be able to get these 4, which is written on the board. Okay, that every other goal that I have, short-lived happiness, satisfaction, things I'm doing for happiness, the conflicts that I have are resulting in lack of peace and then lack of contentment. Bliss को थोड़ा देर हम start में भी रखें, है ना? So then all other goals will get subsumed within these goals. Like I have these little desires to do, and they're not very long, but I probably have like just 5 or 6 left. I already wrote them on the board. I don't have any. I don't know what will happen after those are over. I just want to deepen my understanding. I want to be able to continue to participate and, improve myself. And that's it. Everything else is anyways happening. I'm getting good food. There's a air to breathe. There's enough to eat. कहीं से पैसा आ रहा है. So what will really happen is that everything else has got subsumed within it. You understand? I mean, it just you're left with some core things you want, and everything else is seen as a means to get that. And some can be tolerable distractions. For instance, when we went back to Pune, I had to buy a car. Now, I knew buying a car was like getting a small child home. Because it was an old car, so some maintenance ka kaam nikla. Then I had to go to the service workshop. Then they did a bad job. Then I had to go look for another service workshop. वो हो गई. I mean, just before I came, we had to do that. It cost another 15,000, so we had to spend another 15,000. Then we spent a lakh before that. So it is a minor distraction, and I decided to adopt it. I thought, since we're in the city, let me have my own car. Okay, for XYZ reasons. So some will be tolerable limits में होंगे. But the thing is, what is your main focus of life? And that's something you'll have to reflect on really deeply. And this will help you. So this is really, in words, this is the main focus. But इसका जो अर्थ है वो दिखने में, to be able to see its full import takes time. Okay, and for some of us, we've already been kind of wading in the darkness to look for something. So when this comes around, then it can be like a perfect match. This is what I'm looking for. For some of us who've not really waded so much, but were kind of on the boundary, so when this comes, I'm like, oops, and also let me take my time. So you want to take your own time. And for some of us who are really not looking for anything, not in the boundary, you may have to like take time reevaluating life and its priorities. Also based on your age and stage of life. The answer is a little different for somebody who's 18 years old compared to somebody who's 78 or 68 or 58. Okay, so this in summary are the 4. There were 8 problems there, looking very unmanageable. So basically these are 4 problems: short-lived happiness, conflict in living, assumed personalities, goals, and basic yearning. Yearning is one of the nice words in English. Pyas, Krishna, of knowing that remains unfulfilled. And okay, I mean, if somebody has that, but if they don't have that, ye teen to kaam karega. Okay, so that's really the summary. And I was hoping to finish everything today, but yeah, we've had some good discussion, so that's really okay. We have Way Out, which I will cover tomorrow. I think we've had a long day today. Internally long, externally it is the same. But internally time must have really expanded. Okay, including for me. So we will come tomorrow to the way out. खुद ही नहीं, एस्केप रूट क्या है? ये तो हो गया समस्या, है ना, तुमने मार दिया, अभी रास्ता भी बताओ. So Houdini is the escape route, and this is the pendulum. See, I told you I have a pendulum. So this is the pendulum. So we use the pendulum to swing ourselves out, and we'll swing our way out into happiness. Okay. I won't take it into too much detail, but we'll spend only the first session tomorrow. I'm going to just give us, there's quite a bit there I'm realizing now. Because I'm also presenting all this for the first time in this level of detail, so it's also quite a bit. So I'll hide some of the slides. So you have the deck to read when you get back home. And in the first session, we'll look at how to swing out for good, or at least start the journey. And then we'll move to existence. And we have somebody very important waiting for us there. Okay. So अभी ये एस्केप है. एक बार फिर दिखाना है. हाँ, solution is वही, just to understand. Yeah, just to understand all this यही solution है. हाँ, वो for that we'll have to do like a, yeah, for the purposes of the Parichya Shivir, this is I think actually more than what we would typically do. Those discussions we can have as part of a Goshti, like, the Manan Goshti or something like that. Yeah. Okay, good. Darshan book name? Which? Yeah, it's all there here. I'll give all the links and everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's in Hindi, but they're all printed books. Yeah, I'll give you all the links. Everything is available online. Yeah, everything is free, available online. I'll give you the links to everything. In the last slide, which is the way ahead, I've listed down the names of the books, and I'll also give you the link of where you'll get them. I'll also give you the link of where you can start. I mean, if you'd like to go back home and listen to something and read something, I'll also give you those links, like a starter kit. And we had recently, we started an online study, or what we call as an Adyan Shivir. So I was also able to create kind of like a PDF that will help walk you through the entire thing, even sitting at home online. We have all the books explained by people like me who are students for 400 hours. So you can actually listen to all the Adyan Shiva recordings in one flow, top to bottom. Huh? In Hindi, yeah, not in English. You can read Hindi, but you're not fluent. I was in similar situation. Yeah, but once you start getting the meaning, you'll find most of them are there in Malayalam. So it's not a problem. It's just the pronunciation or intonation that's a little different. Okay, so today's the 5th day. So tomorrow will be 6th, and then 7th and 8th and 9th. Yeah, I think we'll still make it.